Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of asynchronous art videos. So this week we're going to create like a bizarre type of collage. And so I'm going to share my screen with you all so that we can get started. All right, so our objective for this week is that we are learning how to use the principles of art to create a composition inspired by the artist Salvatore Dali. And we will reach our success criteria when we can use I spelled magazine wrong. Oh my goodness. When we can use magazine cutouts to create a disproportionate escape room inspired by Salvador Dali. So here's Salvador Dali, and he looks just as crazy as his artworks are. He looks just as bizarre as his artworks. So his whole name is Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dali y Dementia. Now, if I said that wrong, please excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm a little, weak with Spanish, but he's a Spanish painter. That means that he is from Spain, like the exact country. So he's born in 1904 and he passed away in 1989. And that was like when I was a little girl. I'm old, right? Okay, so he's a surrealist artist. So he's part of the surrealism movement, which means that everything he paints looks like it's like a fantasy world, and it looks like really bizarre, like a dreamland, crazy, bizarre looking type of paintings. So you see what I'm talking about, right? So here's his paintings, and it's called The Persistence of Memory. Now, I always call this one time or clocks because, as you can see, there's like 3 or more clocks in here. And there's like this weird fly on one of the clocks, and then there's these weird ants crawling on the other clock. And so the closed one right here, the granddaddy clock, the clock that people in the 20s used to wear, like hanging out their pockets with a chain. So this is a very old type of clock, but there's 4 clocks. So it's this one that's kind of melting off the edge, which is really weird and bizarre. And then there's this one, which is hanging off this little branch. And it looks really heavy to be hanging off this branch and not break it. So that's kind of bizarre and like weird and fantasy-like as well. And here's another melting clock. And so this represents our like how we remember things. And so we remember some things, but then other things are like kind of blurry and kind of like hanging and sliding away. Like some of our memory slides away from us, gets away from us, especially like, older people, they can't remember everything. So yeah, this is the persistence of memory. Yeah. So we try, but we can't. And as you can see, some of the objects are disproportionate. They're too large or too small in comparison to everything else. That's what disproportionate means. So we're going to create a disproportionate kind of fantasy room, and it's going to be great. So let me just, where's my person? I'm trying to get the thing to pin. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And this is what we're going to create. So you're going to need a piece of paper, and you're also going to need like a magazine article. So I have magazine cutouts right here, and like here's my magazine. So I have like just the regular paper that you get from the local like grocery store or the Star Ledger that comes. This is like the Record newspaper. And so so if you go through it, like you can pick out whatever picture you want. I already have some pictures, but I kind of wanted you to see how to cut out the pictures and what type of pictures to cut out, right? So like, I love junk food, I love chocolate. So my fantasy room would have like some type of junk food in it. So if I'm looking at this page right here, I'm gonna cut out this piece right here. I already cut out something, as you can see, but I'm gonna cut out these Nerds and Laffy Taffy bags. So I'm gonna cut around the whole thing first, just to get it off the page. And then I'm going to cut along the lines of the candy bag, right? The sounds of art making, I love it. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you are cutting. Like, make sure you're cutting to the edge, but not really cutting into the picture. And if you do cut into the picture, that is okay. But it's best to cut like simple shapes. Like, you see how this is a simple type of rectangle. These are the type of cutouts that you want because these are the easiest to do. So if you get into more like organic shapes, then you're going to be cutting like organically. So I have, what else did I have? Oh, I have this eye I wanted to cut out. So I'm just going to cut around the eye, right? And again, I'm cutting to get off the page. And then I'm going to cut around my object, right? So I really don't know how I'm going to put this eye on there yet. So I'm just going to leave this eye for later. But I also want to cut out this mascara that I like to use, right? So this is from local CVS newspaper. Like, so I'm going to cut that mascara out, that yellow one right in the middle. And I'm going to cut again around it just to get it off the page. And then I'm going to cut like closer to the object, right? So it's kind of like an oval almost, or a rectangle, which is a simple geometric shape, right? So you get as close as you can to the object and then you just snip, cut it off, right? And so I'm trying to not to cut into my mascara too much. And that is the end of it, right? So here's my little mascara. It's gonna look so cool in my fantasy room, right? So I have food, I got eyes, I got mascara. You can pick anything you want, just as long as it will fit on the page, right? On the page that you have. So I'm gonna close this and we're gonna get started with our escape room. So in order to create the room itself, I'm going to use pencil, and we can just draw X right in the middle of the page. I'm going to turn my page this way, like sort of like slanted like this. Maybe I'll keep it this way so that you all can see. But usually if I'm creating, I'm turning my paper as I'm creating. Like, my paper is never going to be like this, but I'm going to leave it like this so that you all can see. So we're going to draw X in the middle of this, in the middle of the room, right? Middle of the paper, sorry. So I can use another paper to kind of like navigate my X to make sure that it's straight, but you don't have to. Like, you could just eyeball it, right? So here's my, oops, might want to hold the paper down, right? Okay, so here's my X, right? Draw X really lightly. You don't want to draw too dark because we're going to erase it later, right? And then move it up a little bit to get to that other side. And again, doesn't have to be exactly like a straight line, but if you have a ruler, that would be kind of cool to use right now, a ruler. But if you didn't have a ruler, see how I'm turning my paper? I automatically turn my paper all the time. So I don't like just like keep my paper the same way. I'm always turning my paper when I'm creating. So I'm just going to draw another line going all the way up and across, right? And so that is my X on my paper, right? You can see it. Cool. So in my X on my paper, I'm going to draw a rectangle. Now halfway, so this is the middle part of my paper. It's kind of wonky, but whatever. This is the middle part of my paper. So halfway between here, I'm going to draw a vertical line from here to here, right? So I'm going to draw my vertical line. And notice how I'm moving my hand down. I'm not moving my pencil. So I'm moving my hand down. And I'm not moving my pencil. That would give you a straight line. Now, again, you can also, use a ruler. Turn your paper when you want to. So we're going to create a box along that same line, right? So halfway from here to the middle, halfway, we're going to create another vertical line, right? I'm just going to keep turning because that's what I do. I hope you all can see that. Okay. So you see how I create another vertical line. So I'm turning my paper again. And then you can just keep turning your paper. Move your hand, glide your hand down, slide your hand down, right? Don't move the pencil too much. It might be a little bit off, but that is okay. Don't worry about it. So now what we can do, just straightening up my line right here. So now what we can do is, this is the basis of our room. I'm gonna turn it the other way. I like it that way better. Woo. Okay, this is the basis of our room, right? So we're gonna erase the middle part of our X, right? Erase that. Everything that's inside of our rectangle that we just created, we're going to erase it. I know this seems like a lot, but see how it looks like a room now, right? So take your time and create that line, that X in that rectangle. Again, I am recording, so we have limited amount of time. So if I'm going too fast, make sure you stop and like take the time to create your work, right? So it's a little bit of a wonky room, but it'll work for me because it's a fantasy world anyway. It's a wonky fantasy world. So on one side of my room, this is my back wall. That rectangle begins to look like my back wall. Okay, so on one side of my room, I'm going to draw a window, right? So here's my window. My window is going to be a vertical line a little bit inside of that side of the wall, right? And then the rest of the top part of my window is going to be that diagonal line, but it's going to be parallel to this diagonal line, right? So it's going to be diagonal up and away from the page, right? Off to the edge of the page. And then this one is diagonal down. So this one is going to go diagonal down into the outer portion of the page, right? And so then I'm going to go vertical line down. And that is my window, right? That's one window. So now I have another window I'm going to create. I'm going to do it on the other side. And so I'm going to go down again and then diagonal line up and out to the edge of the paper. And then down again. And then diagonal line to match this diagonal line, right? Parallel, just like that. In the middle of my paper, like right here, I'm going to put a rectangle here and another rectangle here, like right on top. Those are like my stairs to my door. Then I'm going to put a big rectangle right on top of that. I hope that my thing will fit inside my door. Okay, so now I have my makeup, right? I'm gonna put my makeup right here by the door. So what makeup do you know is the same size as your door, right? So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about bazaar, right? So I have a candy bar that I cut out. I'm gonna put my candy bar right here next to my window. I mean, I know they sell candy bars that are like big like the window. And so I'm gonna use my eye in this window right here. Yeah, I'm gonna use my eye in this window. Maybe like slant it a little bit. So I'm gonna take my little thing back first. So all these things we're going to paste down with a glue sticks, right? So you'll need glue stick, scissors, pencil, and crayons if you want, right? So you're gonna need all of these things in order to complete this project, right? And some crayons and a Sharpie. Here is everything you'll need, right? Right. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this though, but see, this is the beauty about creating and being creative. Like you can create your eye in like you can put your eye in a window and kind of like cut around it so that it fits in the window. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna hold it. Or maybe I could just like, I can color around it. Whatever doesn't fit, I could color, right? Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut right here. And then I'm gonna line her eye up right there. And then whatever doesn't fit, I'm just gonna color around it. Maybe I do like that. So here's her little eye, right? And she's looking in my window. And then I'm just gonna cut just like that so that I can't cut anymore to match that angle. And then I'm gonna cut a little bit of that eye off again. I might have cut too much, but that is okay. So it looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. Maybe I'll put it like that. All right, so there's my eye in the window, looking in the window, right? And so I have this cute little dog that I cut out, which is kind of like a more complex shape, right? And I'm gonna put my little cute little dog right inside my door. Like, that dog is so huge in that door. It's disproportionate to the door. Like, this is what disproportionate means. Like, it's the wrong size for the area, or it doesn't really, it's too small or too large in comparison to the size of the room, right? So here's my Coca-Cola, like, I'm gonna make this like a pedestal in my room, right? And I had candy. I love candy, but I did have some candy wrapper. And so this little guy, you guys know who this is, right? Let me hold it closer, right? My little, what do you call it? Sour Patch guy, right? So I'm gonna put that right on top of my Coca-Cola stand. And so he's gonna be dancing on my Coca-Cola stand in my fantasy room. So all of this is going to be pasted down. And I have, what do I have? Oh, I saw this in a Target magazine, so I thought this was cool. I cut this out. So now I'm gonna put that in my room as well. So it looks like my dog is watching something that's going on down here. And I'm gonna put my other little critter right here, right? So he is playing the game. You see him, he's playing the game and my dog is watching him. So I have enough things here. I'm just gonna keep going and going and going with my room. It looks kind of like bizarre, right? So I'm gonna paste down everything. First, I'm gonna start with this eye right here, right? Let me start pasting my eye down. So you organize everything on your page first. First, you cut everything out and then you organize it on your page. Then you can start gluing. And what I recommend is that you glue right on the paper. Like, I don't think, well, you can glue on this thing, but it's kind of messy and then you have to hold it in your hand. So I recommend that you glue right on the paper, like a little dab will do you if you're using liquid glue. If you have a stick, a little, like just, you know, a little tap will do you, right? So you tap it on there and then you paste, right? So now my eyes in my window, geez, look at that. I'm gonna put my my dog in my door, like he's just in the door, huge, it's disproportionate, right? So I'm gonna put the glue on the door, right? Just dab it or whatever, right? Dab it or whatever. And you can put your image in your door like that. And so you have to be very careful, right, when you're pasting your images down. So now that is pasted down. I'm gonna do my mascara that I cut out. So again, I'm going to just little dab a do you, right? And put it right there. When have you ever seen a mascara the size of a door? Like, that is great. And so the game is like huge too. So let me slide this down and slide him off of there. And let me get this pedestal situated. So I want it to be like right next to the door. So I'm gonna cut a straight line going across, right? And so that is my pedestal. Cool, so that's done. I'm gonna lift it up and that, put a little glue on a page, a little dab of do you, and then just paste it right there. And put my little Sour Patch person, right? I'm gonna do a little glue right here on the page, just a little dab of do you. They're gonna get tired of me saying that. And he's like doing the cha-cha slide up here. He's dancing. right? It's awesome. And so just keep gluing down. And then once you're done gluing down, you can begin to decorate the rest of your fantasy room with like your crayons or whatever you have at home. So I'm gonna do a little Dabaduya. Here's my other little critter who's playing this huge, huge game, right? So he's playing the game. My dog's watching him. What else? What else did I cut out? I have like this nerds. Maybe I'll put it here or here. So make sure you place everything down first. I have this tree. You can use a tree as well, but I kind of want to put in the window, like kind of like coming from outside, but into the window. So I think I'm gonna do that. Have it maybe a little bit like that, right? So I'm gonna cut it so that it's cut the same way as the window is. So cut it like that. And then that's cool. So it's like coming out from the window and a little Dabaduya. So let me just put some glue on there around my window. And then like I can't stop pasting things. This is so much fun. Right, so I paste that down. And then I got another dog too. He could be going inside the window. And so here's another dog who's like looking inside the window, trying to watch and look at the other. Yeah, I think that's great. So he's another dog looking at him playing, a little green Sour Patch playing. Right. So he's in the window, he's trying to get in on the action as well. So yeah, I'm gonna put my chocolate in there and it's gonna be over her eye though. Okay, I'll put it like right there. Right. So yeah, it's a process that you have to like kind of like play around with and see what fits inside of where. But once you are done, like once you're done pasting down, you can go back and color, like make decorations. You can color this. This doesn't even have to be a roof. This could be an open space area. Like this could be a roofless room, like a room without a roof, right? So I mean, it's up to you. I have other things that I want to put on, but that's essentially what we are doing. We are creating this fantasy room, and I hope that you all had a wonderful time experimenting and playing around with magazine clippings as much as I did, and have a wonderful week. Make sure that when you are done creating your entire collage, that's what we're doing, is collage, right? Once you're done creating your entire collage, please send it to Ms. Maglia in Class Dojo or Google Classrooms, and have a wonderful week. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day.